This is the time where I feel that I've got to unleash a topic, which of course many toes might be feeling that of course they've been stepped upon. But anyway, I would suggest that every individual who's actually watching me, listening to this material, be phlegmatic, establish structures, as I said, from which of course you'll be in a position to antagonize every little thing that I'm going to say. If ever you wish that, of course you need to do so. Yes, all the facts that I'm going to trumpet, I'm compelled to unleash them based on actually what I've seen, what I've actually realized. As humans, as people that God has created us, we are self-destructive. We are inflicting pains in ourselves. Yes, we don't want to admit that. We don't actually understand that, of course. We are a danger to ourselves. We don't want to accept the fact and the contention that the uniqueness of God's creation is actually made of the components of differences. Yes, that is the actual topic. Why am I actually unleashing this topic? Like as I said, we are inflicting some kind of injuries to ourselves as humans. God created the world to be different, created life to be different. Yes, lives of humans, lives of animals, lives of plants and birds to be different. But the most wonderful thing, God created the type of life, which of course is that of mankind, of humanity, to be special, and armed that life with the intelligence, with the volume of intelligence of being in the position, yes, to be in the position to be there when it comes to realizing the differences in life, the differences in everything, the uniqueness within the life structure that God, of course, has created. But we are actually filled with ego. We are filled with selfishness. Let me put it that way. We don't want to accept that. We find a little group of people of a different kind will not accept the other group of people who do not look like them. Yes, God created white people from Europe. Yes, God created blacks or black people from Africa, Asians from Asia. All the time we'll find that a certain group of people will look down upon the others and actually made it to themselves that they are the only ones that God has created with value and don't accept the other groups or the other nations or the other race groups. I am just going to put this to you. Truly, if ever I'll be stepping on your toes, kindly have a space in your heart or in the corner of your heart, really, to forgive me. But I am not going to stop saying this. I am going to unleash it. Even though obliteration is not going to be the word that, of course, is going to serve the purpose that will be directed to me. Why every time when we look at the people, especially in Africa, who belong to a country which got a very hot climate, the climate that, of course, God created, and the people belonging to that particular area being too dark, then we look down upon them. We laugh at them. We laugh at them as if, of course, they don't carry the value of God's creation. There is one thing that we've got to understand. When God created them, He created them in that particular area and armed them with the darkness of their skin to protect them against the heat that might actually damage their skins. God did that purposely. But the other people from different areas will be looking at these people as if they are subhumans. That is very wrong. We find some other people that God has created, especially in the African continent. They're very light in color. or the skin color is pretty light, and they're being given a name, or a name is being used, albinism. We actually look down upon these people as if they are subhumans, and we use certain names against these people. There are two names that, of course, have infiltrated my heart with sadness: abnormal and normal. There is absolutely nothing that, of course, God did not create with pride. But humans that God has given the intelligence to diagnose the differences, humans decided to come up with different funny names that, of course, are discriminative. Yes, according to them, what is normal is actually what is acceptable to their hearts, acceptable to the group that, of course, they agree with. Is what, of course, they believe it works for them. What is abnormal is what, of course, is negative to them. What, of course, does not work for them. What, of course, is not acceptable in their hearts. But they forget one thing. God created life to be different. Why did God create albinos? Or why did God create these people with this condition of the pigmentation that, of course, reflects whiteness? That, of course, is actually being referred to albinism. It's because God wanted to show the differences, the values, that, of course, He created these people to be different from the others with love. Yes, with pride. Yes, these people, they're giving the reflection of the contention that everything that God has actually created, He created it with brightness. To set an example to the other people that, of course, they've got to be white, they've got to be having the bright colors in their hearts to accept their surroundings around them. That is an example that God has created about the so-called albinos. But let me tell you, these people are living in the African continent who are not acceptable by the others who live among them. They have been discriminated against. They have been persecuted. They are being laughed at. They are being mocked at. And they are being said, given names like they are being abnormal. Yes, there is one thing that people don't understand. When God created those people, yes, He created those people with pride. He blessed those people to set an example of the amazing way of His creation. And those who actually gave back to those people are completely blessed. But we got this type of Africans. The demonic spirits infiltrated their hearts. The demonic spirits infiltrated their hearts and minds. They look at this brightness, which of course they consider being abnormal, as something they can use to brighten up their lives in a different manner. They persecute these people, they kill these people, they use the flesh of these people in a very demonic manner, in a very superstitious manner, that if ever, whatever they do with the flesh of these individuals who are being referred to as albinos after they've killed them, will brighten their wealth, will brighten their successes, will brighten everything that they do. That gives you a reflection of the fact that God has actually created these albinos with a brightness that, of course, invites the hearts of other people who wish actually to absorb this brightness which is within themselves to themselves. If ever we look at these people whom we are referring to as albinos, as abnormal, why do we find the African people who bleach their skins to become white? That proves the contention that, of course, They would love to be like those people. They admire the brightness, which of course God has given to these people. They admire the lighting of this brightness that of course filled up the world. Why do we find people who bleach their black hair into the color of the hair that of course these albinos are having? Some of them, they bleach them to be gold, some to be white, simply because most of the albinos, they've got white and gold hair. And the brightness of their color skins attracts or draw attention of everybody. But let me tell you, those who are filled with demonic spirits will always run after these people that God has created with pride and kill them, hoping that if they kill them, you've taken their flesh, of course for rituals, their lives are going to be changed into brightness. Their wealth is going to be increased. Their successes, of course, will be recognized all over, not knowing that is a greatest offense to the mighty God. Let me tell you something. The people who gave birth to these albinos, or these kind of children, or kind of people, God has blessed you. You are unique. You are special. You must bear it in mind that of course, you are one of those that God has chosen, of course, to bring forth that kind of an element that pleases God. Let me tell you something. The one that of course you are an albino, do not fear. Do not fear for your life. Do not challenge anybody. Of course, your life is in the hands of God. God is going to protect you. Of course, if these people admired Jesus Christ, healings and miracles, and they killed him, who are you? Obviously, for the brightness you have, for the beauty on your faces, for whoever looks at you and admires you, of course, the jealousy will befallen them, and the demonic spirits will instruct them to come for you. But let me tell you, fear not. You are the children of God. God loves you. You are unique. You are special. That is why some of the people, they actually wish to be like you. They bleach their skins in order to be white like you. They bleach their hair in order to be like yourselves. Let me tell you, those who actually perpetrate this type of crimes against these albino people, you will never become white like them. Your lives will never be brightened by your killing them, taking their flesh, burning them into rituals or whatever, or eating them if ever you do. You'll be doomed until the last time when your breath will come out of your body, or your soul spirit will emerge out of your body, and you're going to answer to God one day about your wrongdoing. God bless you. God bless you. People living with albinism. But let me tell you, I hate this name. I detest the word albinism. This is actually a word that of course created some kind of discrimination against you. You are humans. It's just that you look different from the others in color. We do get albinism among the white people in Europe. Those who are very white, with white color, with gold color, different types of hair and lips like yourselves. And the white people in Europe don't discriminate against those albinos. We do get albinism, yes, among the Asian groups. We don't find them discriminating against their kind. They regard them being very special and be unique. But with my African people, I am very disappointed. Why all the time you will have to chase after albinism, albino people, and destroy them in an attempt to get your lives brighten up to look like the way they do? You will never look like them. You will never be like them. Your lives will remain doomed forever and ever. If I were you, I would back off from killing those that God created with pride. Yes, we find most people who are actually created by God to be blind. They are being discriminated against. They are being given names blind to people. They are being given names blind people, abnormal people. I detest, I dislike this word abnormal. I dislike the word that refers to you being blind. You are actually unique. Yes, I wish a terminology of uniqueness fused with something else could have been used to show how special you are in the eyes of God, how God created you to be special. God created you not to see with the naked eye, because he got a mandate for you. Yes, there are certain things you're supposed not to see with the naked eye. Because if you might have seen them, that would have changed the mandate that God actually created you for. Let me tell you something. God created you with an eye, the spiritual eye within you, to see the other side further than the naked eye. There are certain things that you can see that the naked eye cannot see. Yes, let me tell you, you are very special. But you will find these people who actually call themselves the normal people, the seeing people, the people can see with the naked eye, actually discriminating against you, giving you those type of names, pushing you aside as if you are not humans. But let me prove one fact. In all types of talents, type of gifts that God has given an ordinary man, that of course is being said, he normally can see. A blind man can take part into that. We've got those kind of musicians. I'm going to quote an American musician, Stevie Wonder. He became a famous musician. He is a famous musician. Of course, he's the man who could be in a position to see the other side further than the eye of the person who, of course, is being said he's a normal person, to get married to the most beautiful woman. He identified a beautiful woman and made up a family. That is not actually a disability. Yes, this man is an entertainer. He's a global entertainer, recognized all over, even though there are those who actually refer to him as a blind man. He's a blind man to you because you are a group of people who can see with the naked eye. Now, simply because this one is given the spiritual eye that can see far better than your eye, you're actually giving him names. Look at Stevie Wonder. Well, let's look at the Ray Charles, the old man. The man that played piano, all kinds of music. He became one of the richest musicians as well. Of course, in America. He got married to a beautiful woman. He identified the beauty of a woman. How? How, if he could not see? He actually got married to the most beautiful woman than the man that, of course, could see with the naked eye. And he could play the piano better than the man that, of course, can see with the naked eye. That proves a point of fact that God wanted to show the world, of course, blindness is not abnormality. Blindness is not disability. Blindness is uniqueness. To show the power of God that, of course, we're supposed not to be the same. We are mandated for different categories of lives. Of course, the blind people in music, they're supposed actually to prove to the world that, of course, in music, there are those people who can actually read music without the naked eye, but with the spiritual eye, to prove the power of God. That is the mandate they had. Let me tell you something. You're coming back to South Africa. We had the people like Babsim Langeni, a man who lived in Johannesburg township called Soweto. The man, of course, was being singing. A man who was celebrated among his people. Every time when he was performing on stage, yes, he used to draw the attention of all the multitudes. He used to entertain everybody. He got married to one of the most beautiful African women. Why? Because he could see with the spiritual eye, the beauty. He could identify the beauty with the spiritual eye of that woman. And he had a beautiful family. He has not been a beggar. Getting back to South Africa, we had a Steve Kekana, a wonderful musician. Of course, he's still a wonderful musician, highly celebrated. He has proven beyond any shadow of fact that, yes, God actually made him to be special and unique. Without being a celebrated musician, he even went to study in the law fraternity. He became an advocate to prove that, of course, God made him unique, made him special. The mandate that God has given him was show the world that, of course, what they refer to you as disability, abnormality, it does not work. You are special. You are unique. You can do certain things that, of course, I'm mandated for. Entertain my people with your music, Steve Kekana, and go and serve the people in the law fraternity. And that is where he is right now. If we have to go further, we can mention millions of people who are artists who can do wonderful things in music. Being blind. So brothers who are blind, or who are being said you're blind, you are not blind. I hate this word. You are not abnormal. I hate this word. You are not disabled. I hate this word. You are unique. I wish there was another word that, of course, would be fused with uniqueness to show how special you are. God mandated you for a service. You are special. There are those people, of course, on planet Earth that, of course, were born without legs. God knew for a fact that if he created you with legs, you might have crossed the road and a truck might have ran over you. Then the mandate would not have been accomplished. He decided to create you with no legs so that you can be on a wheelchair. You know why? He had a special mandate for you. There are some of you who belong in the world of academics, who are attorneys, magistrates, artists, yes, who can do wonderful things. Some of you who can play or take part in sports activities with no legs. God had to prove to the world with you that he's a God that, of course, is unique and created the world to be unique. Don't feel sorry for yourself. You are not disabled. You are not abnormal. You don't belong to the world of disability. You belong to the world of uniqueness because God had a mandate for you. I'm saying to the brothers that can walk over there, yes, sit down, think straight, challenge God, ask God, yes, to pour the energies of intelligence in your heart, in your hearts, and in your brains, so that you can identify your mandates, so that, of course, you can accomplish the mission of your presence on planet Earth. We've got those people with no arms. God knew for a fact that if ever he created you with arms or with hands, you'll be in a position to be touching certain things which, of course, were going to destroy you and your mandate would not be accomplished. Therefore, he knew for a fact that he has to prove to this world that, of course, you are unique, you are special. Yes, you don't use your arms, but you can use your feet in order to write. You can use your feet to play music instruments. Yes, like that Chinese young girl. Yes, like that American young girl. Yes, like some African young children who can actually do certain things with their feet. You can feed yourself without begging for somebody to come and assist you to feed you whilst you don't even have arms. I am going to make a special request to you. Those, of course, who is not actually established in their hearts and minds, that of course, God created you to be unique. Challenge God, ask God to pour the energies of intelligence in you, to accept the fact that you are not disabled, you are not abnormal, but you are unique, and God should actually give you the power to establish from your gifts that the energies must be generated in order for you to identify your different talents to accomplish His mission. Let me tell you, the world of those who actually look down upon those that, of course, you think they're abnormal, they're disabled. Of course, you think that God created them with mistake. Maybe you need to pray very hard and apologize to God. Ask for forgiveness to God, because thou should not put the name of the Lord in vain. Thou should not look down upon the work of God and say God actually made those children or made those people by mistake. No one was created by mistake on planet Earth. Each and every individual on planet Earth was created with a mandate to prove the power of God that is existing in him, in order the other people out there to be in a position to know that, of course, that individual belongs to God. Let me talk to you. Those that, of course, we say they are deaf, they cannot hear. God created you not to hear, because you'll be hearing certain things, stupid gossips that, of course, might destroy your lives. Stupid gossips that, of course, may make you confused, contaminate other people's lives. Yes, God created you with an intelligence to be in a position to read the lips of people who actually say certain things. Yes, to be in the position to understand and to feel the vibe of the music, to feel the vibe of every sound, to feel the vibe of everything that is actually happening on planet Earth, and identify it with accuracy. What is it all about? You are not disabled. You are not abnormal. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. That is why God actually created you with that manner of knowing how to read lips. Yes, some of you, God created them with that point of being deaf and not being in a position to speak. Yes, God knew for a fact that if ever you were going to say something with your mouth, or trumpet certain things to your mouth, you were going to say certain things which were wrong, which were going to hurt the other people, and the mandate that God created for would not be accomplished. Maybe that what you're going to say to the other people might make those people actually to destroy you, and of course it will be the end of you. So your creation on planet Earth would have not been accomplished. So it's better that you should not actually take out a sound to somebody, because that sound would hurt other people, and those people might hurt you in return. Instead, you should be in the position to read their lips. You should be in the position to have a communication with your hands, which is very complicated. It's not every Tom, Dick, and Harry who's in the position to read, to understand, to explain. Yes, all the letters, all the sounds that, of course, are actually being interpreted by your hands. But God made it that way for you to be in a position to prove to the multitude that He's God of all nations and tribes. He's God of all miracles. He's God of uniqueness. Don't ever feel sorry for yourself and go around begging people to give you handouts, to give you stupid things out there that, of course, might actually degrade you and give you some kind of curses that will cause, would have been transmitted from the men or from those, of course, who have been cursed to you. Instead, ask the mighty God who created you with deafness, who created you with the fact of not being in a position to speak, to unleash those energies into your hearts, into your minds. Yes, of course, to activate that kind of a gift in order to generate the energies that will establish the talents that he has given you. We've got all those types of people who are in a position to say certain things about this and that. And then God make it point that it is done the right way. Some people might feel offended with everything that I've said. But I want you to understand the creation of God with uniqueness is to show the differences among everything, among all the things that he has done, or among everything that, of course, he decided to put on planet Earth. The so-called the normal people who can speak, who can walk, who can do whatever so related to the so-called normal. They establish different cities in different countries. Yes, a city was established in England called London, which was different from a city in the United States of America called New York. A city was established in South Africa called Johannesburg, which is different from a city established in Nigeria. Why? They had to be different in order to accomplish the mission of God's uniqueness. Imagine if everything was actually the same. If all cities in the world were the same. If you had to travel from South Africa to Nigeria and reach Nigeria, you would still be feeling of thinking that you are still in South Africa. Imagine if you had to leave Nigeria, that is Lagos. Yes, that city. That looks like a city in Johannesburg in South Africa. Then you traveled to London, that is in England. You find London being the same as Lagos, being the same as South Africa. There would not be a difference. You'll still be feeling that you are in the same place. Imagine you're traveling from London, yes, to New York City in America. You find it looks the same as New York, looks the same as Nigeria, looks the same as Lagos in Nigeria, looks like the same Johannesburg in South Africa. That would not make a difference. You would not feel that you're in a different area at all. God created life to be different. So the normal people, you are inflicting some kind of injury in yourselves. Why? I understand. Maybe we can say, let me go back. If God created multitudes of people referred to as albinos, people who are bright in color, and to create fiber elements of those who are black, maybe those albino nations will be referring to those elements that are dark, also black albinos. They would not maybe understand the fact that God created these who are black with a mandate. Jesus Christ said, Father, forgive them because they don't know what they are doing. I guess Christ was right in this regard. But at some stage, we've got to cut this. People know exactly what they are doing. If you discriminate against somebody that God has created, you know exactly you're doing something wrong. At the end of the day, you need to be forgiven for that. Yes, forgiveness is not obliteration of the offense that you've committed. It's a lessening of the punishment you're supposed to be getting. You don't deserve to get a lesser punishment. You deserve not to get a punishment. That means you've got to stay away from committing stupid offense against the other people, discriminating, giving people stupid names. Let me tell you, the so-called, the abnormal people, as I've indicated, the albinos, you don't even need to fight God is going to fight your battles. He created you with pride. Let me tell you something. You are angels on planet Earth. That is why the demons, the evil people would like to steal your brightness from you in order to brighten their lives. You're wonderful people, albinos. Don't even worry about what they say. They spoke too much about Jesus Christ when he was on planet Earth doing wonderful things. They said he was a liar until such time they pinned him on the cross. That should not surprise you. You people who can't walk, you people who got no hands, you people who can't hear, you people who can't speak, and you are being referred to as disabled, referred to as abnormal. Let me tell you, you are special angels on planet Earth. You are being sent to come and rescue the world in a different form so that the world should understand God. Don't beg to be given handouts that are contaminated with curses. Stand out, ask God with your pride. Yes, that God, you actually created me. Let me prove to these who call me abnormal, who call me negative individual on planet Earth, that I am a different person from them. You created me with pride. I know some of you might feel very bad about it. I know some of you, you may be thinking that I'm actually stepping on your toes, like I just said. Like I already indicated. Be flashmatic and create structures to antagonize everything I've said. I hate the word abnormal. I hate the word disability. I hate the word that, of course, discriminates against the others. We are all God's creatures, and we've got the right to live. I close my subject. I'll come for episode 2. I love you all.